Hello Tarot fans, welcome to another edition of Blue Six Tarot. I'm your fantastic host Blue Six. Thank you very much for watching. Now today we'll be doing a review of a deck that once gave me massive anxiety, but more about that in the main part of the video. So with that fun introduction out of the way, let's roll on that intro. So finishing up the tarot decks that have the Rider-Waite-Smith as a basis but kind of doing their own version, we take a look at the Viceversa Tarot. Now similar to the New Vision that we did on the last video, this one does something similar but different. So you have the standard at the front, but it has the other side on the other side of the card, so it's double-sided. One of the reasons when I first came across this, it kind of gave me a bit of anxiety, is when I do readings I like to have the cards face down and turn them over as we go. But as these cards are double-sided, you can't actually do it that way. So I might do another video kind of going into a good way to use them outside of the traditional standards, but we'll get on to that another video. So first of all, we're going to take a look at the Fool. Now it's still the classic Fool at the edge of a cliff. Granted, there is no dog here, but there are there's a crown, some other and a chalice by his feet. Nice little sunset. But on the other side, we have the dog, the petal coming off, night sky, and the Fool following a shooting star. And so what this deck kind of does is the classic version isn't all on one side, it has bits of one on one, and on the other side it has a bit of the other. And you'll see that as we continue on. So next we have the Death card. Now the Death being face on, you don't tend to get that much, but he's looking at two noblemen and with a nice horse with flaming eyes. So still very kind of classical theme for the Death card. On the other side, we have a skull and a chalice with a crow on top, or a crow or raven, and a woman dancing in the background with two pillars, which feels like which represents what we see during in the moon card. These pillars also in the background of the classic Death card, but this feels like it's more of the renewal message. So obviously Death on the standard side, but on this side it has more of the renewal message. The thing is done, plants are now going to regrow, the sun is now rising. So next we take a look at the Tower. Now standard, where the lightning has struck the tower and two people are falling. Granted, these people are in flames, which is quite dramatic compared to some of the other depictions. And you've got the eye at the top. And on the other side, you have, well, first of all, you've got two, not chimeras, you've got two sphinxes at the bottom that you'd see in the Chariot. We have a broken ladder, lightning still striking, but it's also breaking this mask. So you could say, like, the tower itself, I always read it as something negative is about to come. You know it's coming, but you don't know what it's going to, you don't know what it's going to hit and how bad it's going to be. But this feels like the dropping of the mask. You're finally seeing what someone is as their true selves. So next we take a look at the Stars. Now you've still got the classic woman pouring water into the stream, and a crane in the background and star. I think that's quite a nice image there. On the other side, there is a spirit in front of the woman and a red rose in the background. So maybe it's wishing for, and also lots of falling stars. So it could be a case of you're not just making your wish, but you're making big wishes, and some of them are coming to fruition. And a lot of the hopes you've put out a lot of hopes, and a lot of them are kind of coming together at once. Now we take a look at the Judgment card. So the classic style where you've got a man, woman and child, they're already out of the graves in this, and you have the Angel of Judgment here, quite radiant in their appearance. On the other side we have more of a more symbolism here, so we've got more of an eagle at the top. And similar to the Death card, this the reverse of the Death card, this feels more like an aftermath. So we've already had the Judgment happen, and now it's okay, where do we go from here? The earth is, if we're using the Judgment Day idea, the earth is now scorched. We now have to kind of rebuild, sort of thing. So now we take a look at the aces. So of course we've got the Ace of Cups. We have more of a fountain rather than a cup. You still have the dove at the top, and a woman who could be from the stars. As we turn over, once again more of a nighttime scene, and we have a man on horseback arriving. So you could kind of have this as a depiction of the front is a new start, and this could be symbolic of someone either arriving early or arriving late, as it is already night. So something has come in sooner than you expected or later than you expected, depending on the placement of the card. So now we have the Ace of Pentacles. Now at the bottom you just have the number and the symbol, but sorry, because my fingers have covered them up. But yeah, so you still have a nice luxurious garden, rather a hand of a person rather than a hand coming out of the clouds, raising up the pentacle. On the other side we have a building and two what looks to be maybe merchants. So this could be more focusing on property or work ventures, something along those sort of lines. So this is probably more like focusing more on a new start to your new job, or focusing more on your new house, or the thing you intend to build up towards. This side is the opportunity, and this side is the goal, similar to what we've had before. So now we have the Ace. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong way. Was that the wrong way? Well, we're here now. So this is actually the back side of the Ace of Wands. So you've got the, once again, standard. The other problem is it's kind of confusing which way around. But this side we have, no, sorry, this is the back side. My apologies. Yeah. So on this we have an eagle in the an eagle probably in the background here, and you have growth on the wand, and it's raising to the desert sun. So you're basically not declaring victory, but it's kind of like inspiration has really struck. And on the front side, my apologies, you still have, you've got a bit of a forest and lightning striking a tree. And so this could be like the spark of inspiration. So on the front you've got the spark, and on the back you have the push and energy to go forward. And so to avoid confusion, like I've just had now, the number would be on the right hand side and the symbol will be on the left. So if it's the other way around, you're looking at the back half. So we now have the Ace of Wands, once again being held by a hand, being held by an arm rather than a cloud, and you have the crown in front of another forest. Still kind of got the same vibe as the traditional. And on the other side we have this eagle with a wreath. So once again I feel that this is more a sense of victory and being able to success over adversity, as you have the mountains in the background here. And let's take a look at the Three of Chalices. So you have a lone woman with a chalice in her hand and flanked by a chalice each at night as an offering. So this, you could probably use this more of like symbolic of a ritual offering to a god or ancestor. And on the other side, we have more of the classic image of three women doing rituals together, be that just enjoying their own company. They all the same. They also appear to be about the same age, so it's not really the youth, the woman, and the hag or the crone, but it still kind of has the together vibe of three witches just enjoying themselves in a coven. So next we'll take a look at the 8 of coins. So once again, you still have the stone or metal mason, although he's inside and the pentacles are in a tree. Still quite a nice image. And on the other side, we have the ghostly images of the pentacles, and who would appear to be this man's son. So it's more of either you are teaching your craft to someone else, you have now honed your skills and now you are teaching the skills to the next generation, be that either be your own child or in your own workplace. So next we have the 5 of swords, 5 of wands. Once again, you have in this one you just got 2 medieval knight combatants ready to face off. And once again, not a lot of detail in this. But on the other side, you still have the 2 combatants, but there is a volcano. And so it could be more that within this conflict, victory is assured more on one side than the other, or that this conflict is more volatile and has more, and it affects more than the people may realise. So now we have the 10 of swords. Instead of to surround a person, it is a knight with 10 swords within them, laying down in defeat. On the other side, we have what appears to be an empty suit of armour with what would be the knight who was within them. And instead of it being defeat or being overwhelmed, it's more of stepping back from a lot of the chaos, or being aware that there is so much stuff they've dealt with, they can kind of look and go, you know what, I think I'm done. It feels like they're walking away from a very hectic situation that could be very costly if they stay. So now we take a look at the court cards. We have the Page of Wands. Once again, man out in the desert, and a dry pit and dead or dying plant there. Although I do like the fact that the wand does have plants, does have growth on them. I always like it when they have that. And on the other side, we have a phoenix appearing to come out from the dead foliage, and he's looking out at the stars. So this could be more of a case of inspiration or ambition, in the same way that you would have the stars as a symbol of hope and ambition, or at least hope. So next we'll take a look at the Knight of Chalices. Once again, this is a very standard sort of knight, polished armoured white horse, offering his chalice, or at least holding his chalice towards you. And on the other side, there is no one he's handing the chalice to, but once again there are beautiful stars, and he's walking over a crab, which would be more from the moon, card. And so it feels that he is maybe lost in his own feelings without necessarily being aware of his own surroundings. Next we have the Queen of Pentacles. Excuse me. With a hawk. I'm not particularly good with birds, but she has a bird. She has a bird of prey on her antlers, and once again around in greenery and on a stone throne. And on the other side, it's more sunset rather than night. You've got the pentacle here on the back, which feels more symbolic of magic rather than just the pentacle for wealth and health. So in this case, she feels more like a matriarch, and you've still got some building in the background. Whether she is ruler of the buildings here, or if she's an outsider looking in, that we'll put that down to interpretation and once again where it lands in the spread. And so lastly, we take a look at the King of Swords. And again, a very tall man, a very stoic sort of gentleman, older with his white hair. Rather than sitting, he is standing with another bird by his feet, not quite sure the bird. And on the other side is you have a thunderstorm, a sickle. So he's maybe had to remove certain things. He's maybe had to put a lot of work into cutting down what's unnecessary, maybe brutally so, to deal with what's coming on here. So he's maybe had to make a lot of tough decisions, but those tough decisions had to be done to deal with what's coming. So it might be a fact of they're not nasty, they just have to make a lot of decisions that no one else wants to make or can make. So that's the Viceversa Tarot. Once again, I'll probably do another video kind of covering sort of ways that you'd be able to use this deck. Overall, it's a very interesting deck. Once again, the artwork's really nice. Just as I said, very tricky to read with, I would say, or at least very tricky to kind of lay out. This is easy to read, but it's how to use them, I think, is the tricky part. But that's the review. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all on the flip side.